Level 3 Power English.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Joe.
And I'm Cameron Word.
Okay. On Saturdays, we take a break from our usual dialogues and we cover a current event, an article about what's going around in the world. Now, everybody knows that we have a huge population crisis, like in Korea, Japan, even China. They're not having kids. But come to find out, Americans are saying no to kids too.
Yeah, I think this is more of what we call the developed world, is having this issue where people aren't having kids. About the only place in the world right now where there is like a positive birth rate is like Africa and maybe parts of South America.
India. Yeah, right. So, 미국인들도 아이를 안 낳고 싶대요.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, no, thank you. Okay. So that's what this article is about.
Yes.
Yeah, it's becoming a global problem.
Well, I mean, there are a few, it's complicated, right?
Yeah, it's complicated. Although I did hear that Africa, though, will be increasing in population,
right.
But other countries will significantly decrease. So there's going to be like kind of a balancing out, I guess, globally. Okay, so that's the topic today. Let's look at the expressions. If you break down something...
Yes.
In this context, what does it mean?
You're analyzing something, you're breaking it down into small pieces. So you're looking at the details and analyzing.
Okay. And opt out of something. Opt is spelled O-P-T.
Yes. To opt out means to choose not to do something. Choose not to participate.
Okay. And if you look down on someone...
You think you're better than them.
Oh.
Yeah, you're looking from above. You're on top and they're down below and they are not as good as you.
They're inferior.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take a listen to our article.
A survey of American women shows that a growing number do not want to have children. In fact, the number has climbed 10% since 2018. The researchers broke down the reasons given, which included 57% who said they simply didn't want children. Other reasons for opting out of having children included financial concerns, health issues, and even concerns about climate change. One respondent said she didn't understand why people looked down on her for not wanting to make her life more difficult.
All right, let's look at the Power article on page 68 and the translation on 69. More Americans are saying no to having kids.
A survey of American women shows that a growing number do not want to have children. Okay, so American women, a growing number.
Yes.
They don't want to have children.
Right.
Okay, so what is a growing number? I can imagine it's increasing number?
Yes, it is a number that is increasing. So this does not necessarily mean it's a big number. It means it could be small or it could be big. It's just saying that the number is going up. The number is getting bigger.
Right. And I feel that if you say a growing number, it feels like it is slowly it's not like drastically increasing like right now.
Yeah.
But that it's slowly just getting more and more and more and more.
Yeah, so it is not like a huge increase all of a sudden.
Yes.
That would be like an exploding number, right?
Right.
But it is getting bigger over time.
In fact, the number has climbed 10% since 2018. So 10%. In 6 years, 10%.
Yes.
Let's continue.
The researchers broke down the reasons given, which included 57% who said they simply didn't want children.
Okay. So usually the researchers break down the data. Are they breaking something? Destroying something?
Right, so that is another meaning of the phrase break down, right? But here with researchers, breaking down means you're analyzing it by looking at different parts. So like just how you have a machine, you can break it down and like really tear it apart.
Right.
It's looking at all of the different pieces. Because if you only look at the big picture, only look at it as a whole, you might miss several of the details.
Okay, so you're getting it all together and just kind of like trying to figure out what this means.
Yes.
Based on your data. So they broke down the reasons given. Okay, so they are going to categorize the reasons, and 57%, they just don't want children.
Yeah.
They simply didn't want children, which is saying there's no real reason. They just don't want it. Okay, let's continue.
Other reasons for opting out of having children included financial concerns, health issues, and even concerns about climate change.
Okay, so one reason, the biggest reason, is I don't want children. I just don't want it, okay? But the other reasons for opting out,
Yes.
to opt out of something,
means choose not to do something. Instead of participating in an activity, you're saying, no, I'm okay.
no thank you.
I don't want to. So opt out. This OPT, we've talked about this before. It's from the same root as option.
Yes.
So opt meaning to choose an option. But because it's opt out of, you're saying, I do not want to choose that option.
Yeah, that's right. I choose not to.
I choose not to do it.
Okay, so they're opting out of having children because of money, health issues, and even climate change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the thoughts, the viewpoints on this have changed. But so I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
I'm 34 years old right now. So I am like baby making age.
Yes, you are, Cameron.
Like as far as age, this is the time that I would be having children. And a lot of people are thinking, well, if I make a child, that's a new life. So let's assume that child is healthy and lives for 80 years.
Yeah.
That's 80 years of someone using plastic, burning fuel.
Yeah.
Not everyone thinks like this, but if you're making a person, there are resources that go into that person living, right?
Right.
That person is going to buy cars, buy houses. They're going to travel. They're going to eat. They're going to use all of these resources. And people that are particularly concerned about the environment maybe think that is not, how do I say this? They do not think that that is morally correct.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm not even saying that's my personal opinion, but there are people that do think like that
Sure.
and are not having children.
Right. So we just should kind of reduce the global population.
Right. That, There are
Okay.
people who think like that. Yes.
Okay. One respondent said she didn't understand why people look down on her for not wanting to make her life more difficult. Okay. Now, there's a word, power vocab, respondent, which is respond, E-N-T, respondent. So I feel like respond, we know what that word means,
Yes.
but if there is an E-N-T, what kind of person?
So, it does become a person, right?
Yeah.
So it is a person who responds to a question. Often we use this for people who are part of a survey or are part of research.
Right.
So they have answered the questions in the survey, so we call them a respondent.
Okay, very good. And she's confused. And the reason why is because people look down on her for not having children. So like, oh, I'm single, or, and I don't want to get married, or like, I'm married, but I don't want children.
Right.
And other people look down on her.
Right, yeah. To look down on means to make someone seem inferior. Like we said, they're smaller. They're not as good as you. And it can be in any way. It could be in a skill, or it could be even morals, ethics. Like you look down on someone, oh, they're dirty. They're sinful. They're
not intelligent.
They're a bad person.
Yeah.
You're looking down on them. And this is an argument I have heard people say before.
Yeah.
Right now, there is kind of this kind of generational difference where my parents' age people, so people in their 60s, are saying, my generation is selfish for not having children. So the word being used is selfish.
Oh, so Cameron is 이기적이다.
Yes, that's what that is the argument being made.
You're so selfish.
That is an example of looking down on someone.
Yeah.
Oh, you're selfish because you won't have children.
Yeah, that is true.
Right.
That is true.
Well, that's what they think. I don't know if the being selfish part is true, but
right. I mean, that's what they say,
yes.
and that is true for them. But for you, it's a different story.
Yeah, I was like, well, you aren't the one having to raise this child.
That's true. That's true. That's right. Are you going to raise this child?
Yeah, if you want to be a grandma, why don't you just be a mom again?
Okay.
Take care of the child.
All right. Let's go ahead and listen to that article one more time.
A survey of American women shows that a growing number do not want to have children. In fact, the number has climbed 10% since 2018. The researchers broke down the reasons given, which included 57% who said they simply didn't want children. Other reasons for opting out of having children included financial concerns, health issues, and even concerns about climate change. One respondent said she didn't understand why people looked down on her for not wanting to make her life more difficult.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 70 and 71. Break something down or break down something means to analyze something in detail. Okay?
Yes.
How do you plan to beat the defending champions?
I've watched their games and broke down their offensive strategy.
Isn't that what a lot of sports teams do?
Yeah, they look at the tape.
They watch the video.
Yeah.
Okay, they like, strong offense or like, it's weak defense and...
Yeah. Oh, you see
it's
the forward went around this way. So when you see them going this way, you know that they're going to pass the ball, and like you're really getting into the details.
Yeah.
You're breaking down everything.
For two people who don't like sports, you and me, that was a pretty good example.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. All right, sound convincing. Okay. The professor tried to break down the steps of the student's lab experiment.
Yes.
There are many steps in an experiment. You don't just do it all at once, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to break it down. Like, okay, step 1, step 2. Talk about the details.
Yes.
You can also, an accountant can maybe break down the numbers.
Yes.
How?
So if you break down the numbers or you break down expenses, you're giving a list of every single thing you bought, every single thing you use money for.
Right.
So in this case, a breakdown, if you use it as a noun, if you're talking about things like accounting and money and purchases, that would be like receiving a 내역서. Like receiving the itemized list of everything that happened.
And I think that a lot of people also do this at home. Your expenses. You're going to break it down. You're going to analyze, okay, how much do we spend on food? How much do we spend on, entertainment?
Yes.
You break it down.
Yep.
Okay, good. Opt out of something means choose not to participate in doing something.
Yes.
What happened to your streaming service on your TV?
I opted out of it for the month. I'm too busy.
Okay. To opt out of, sometimes, I have 3 memberships.
See, I used to...
I have 3 memberships to a streaming to streaming services.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, you do too?
I hate that because the thing with the membership is we were supposed to be getting rid of cable TV.
Yes.
So we got the subscription. But now we have so many subscriptions, it's the same amount as the cable used to cost.
One quick question for you, Cameron.
Yes.
Can you opt in?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So opt in and opt out are both possible. I think a good example of this would be organ donation. Like whenever you're, unfortunately, if you get in an accident, you die, if they can use your heart or they can use your kidney or if they can use your lungs, right?
Yeah.
So when you're in the hospital, they'll take it out and put it in another person, right? That's organ donation. Depending on the country you live in, the country could be opt in or opt out.
Oh.
Which means, so first, since we're talking about it opt out, it means if you do not say anything, they will take your organs.
Oh,
They will
automatically.
use automatically.
Oh.
If you do not say anything, if you don't sign a paper saying, do not take my organs, they will do it. That's called an opt-out system. You have to choose not to do it.
Oh, so if you do not want this to happen, you actually have to tell them.
Yes, you have to opt out of it.
You have to opt out.
Other countries are opt-in. So the U.S., for example, is opt-in.
Okay.
If you don't say anything,
they're not going to use your organs.
They're not going to use your organs.
I see.
But usually when we get our driver's license is when you can opt in. Say, yes, I will be an organ donor.
That's right. There's a little mark on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good example. Okay, so some countries are opt-out.
Yes.
And some countries are opt-in.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we have to know, like, if we decide to move to another country.
Yeah, I personally don't have a problem if my organs are used or not.
Yeah.
But some people, maybe for religious or cultural reasons, will want or not want to have that happen, right?
Okay. How about this example? We opted out of the guided tour and wandered around on our own. You know, there are these sort of guided tours.
Yeah.
There are these sort of, what is it, the headphone?
Like the audio tours?
The audio tours. So if you opt out, it's like, no, I choose not to.
Right. It's like when you go on a cruise and like you stop at the port and they can say, we have these different activities you can do. And you say, nah, I don't want to do those activities.
That's right.
That's opting out of them.
That's right. Those tours often have those extra things.
Yes.
I opt out. Okay. Look down on someone means that you think of yourself as better than someone. Okay. Look at that guy's shoes. They aren't even a name brand.
You shouldn't look down on someone because they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. People look down on me because of my stutter. Oh, what's a stutter? S-T-U-T-T-E-R.
Stutter. It's people. I'm not making fun of them. That's just the explanation. But people that some of their words they can't get out clearly.
Right.
That is a stutter.
Yeah. I really think that we should not look down on anyone for whatever reason.
I don't know. I think some things you can look down on. Like if someone tells a lie, I think you should be able to look down on them.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
if someone commits a crime, you should be able to look down on them.
And that's a good question because you just think, oh, you look down on someone because they don't have this or they aren't this. But of course, if it's a bad thing, we should all look down on it.
Right, yes. So I think that's important. Don't look down on someone because of their looks or things they can't control, but if there are bad actions they did, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, a growing number is an increasing number. A growing number of cities are experiencing a declining population.
A growing number of insect species are going extinct.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Even insects are disappearing.
Yeah, I heard that, like in the Amazon, there are animals that we may never
even
know exist.
Oh.
Because they're disappearing.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That upsets me. Power vocabulary, check it out. Respondent on page 72. And make sure you stop by Audio
Ohakdang.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.